This is what a vacation looks like when you already live in Tampa, Florida, and your parents decide to come visit you for New Year instead of making you come all the way up north into the cold weather. We started this week in Tampa on Anna Maria Island, where Charlie spent a good amount of time fishing. He even caught one keeper fish and grilled it up for us. Flounder's a pretty thin fish, and this was an experimental way to cook it. It was still delicious, but, you know, we're refining our techniques of fresh caught fish down here. We spent some time on the beach at the beginning of this week. We even got some professional photos done, so shout out to Misty for reaching out and letting me know she had some availability, because I think they turned out great. Later that night, we went out to dinner at the Ugly Grouper. I didn't get grouper, I had to get my coconut shrimp, and that wrapped up the trip. The next morning, Charlie's family went home, and my parents came back to our Tampa apartment with us.
Sorry, they came and ran up to us, and they know my mom has eggs. I'm so sorry. There's so many of them. They're hungry. They think we all have food to give them, but we don't. That's illegal.
We decided to have a St. Pete day, so we went over there, explored the pier, walked around a little bit, and then decided to go to the Sunken Gardens. This has been on my list for a while. I enjoyed seeing all the plants because I love plants, and then there were quite a few birds there. We went back to downtown St. Pete to get some dinner and some very expensive ice cream. We went home, went to bed super early so that we could get on the road to Everglades National Park the next day. We started out on an airboat tour, which was actually in Big Cypress National Preserve. We saw a ton of gators there, as well as some birds and other wildlife. This was a first for my parents and myself too, because I've never been to Big Cypress. So we checked that off the list, went to the gift shop, I got my passport stamped, and then we went and decided to go get some lunch on the water. My mom and I enjoyed stone crab claw tacos. It was delicious. I've never had this kind of crab before. And then we went on a boat tour of the 10,000 Islands. This is the Gulf Coast side of Everglades, so it was completely different than anything I had ever seen before, and it was definitely a cool way to introduce my parents to the park. I was back to work on Wednesday covering Malfunction Junction, and my parents were on the road down to visit my aunt. It was my goal to fully pay off my new car a year early after my last car was stolen, saddling me with another car loan, and on January 8th, I did that. So I took myself out to get a celebratory Diet Coke and officially checked having a car payment off my list. I covered a very meaningful story of 3 boys coming home after being adopted from an orphanage in Haiti. Definitely one of the more emotional stories I've ever gotten to do, and I loved being there for that. The real weekend rolled around, and it was Charlie's 32nd birthday, so I got him a cake and pastries from La Segunda. He loves it there, so I thought what better way to celebrate his birthday than with a few treats. That night, I went to work and covered an Ice Out protest in St. Pete and then one in Tampa, and that's how I wrapped up week 24 living in Tampa, Florida.